Guten Morgen. Kurzer Lautstärketest. Hallo. Na, wie geht's euch? Könnt ihr mich gut hören? Und bis gleich. Hi, guten Morgen, hallihallo ihr Lieben. Grüßt euch. Ich hoffe, es geht euch gut, obwohl es so früh morgens ist. Einige Stimmen haben gesagt, mitten in der Nacht. Kann ich gut nachvollziehen. Ich bin auch noch ein bisschen müde. Ich habe noch bis heute Morgen gearbeitet und dann kurz geschlafen. Jetzt die Kinder schon ins Bett gebracht und, zur Schule gebracht. Und jetzt versuchen wir trotz der frühen Stunde schon ein bisschen kreativ zu sein. Und zwar auf Englisch. Ich weiß nicht, ob jetzt schon Englischsprachige da sind, aber es werden auf jeden Fall gleich noch welche kommen. Deswegen, wenn es okay ist für euch, schalten wir auf Englisch um. So, good morning everyone. I will greet you guys again in English because, the first part of the creative journey for Aquanox has been in English, and in case the rest of the audience, the English-speaking audience, wants to watch part 2 as well, I think it would be fair to stick to English. It is 9 a.m. in the morning here in Germany. I've been working pretty much throughout the night, and I'm quite exhausted, quite tired. But I will still try to, make good music on the one hand, and on the other hand, be on a level of energy that allows me to interact with you appropriately. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for showing up, and I hope we will have a productive and pleasant stream together. So, what have we done on Wednesday? We have been working on a piece of music for Aquanox Deep Descent. And I see that you guys are saying that I have a delay, right? You mean the fact that my camera and my voice are out of sync, right? And I know that it is the problem is that I'm using very much CPU already for the streaming and for the software that's running in the background, my music production software, and my 4K camera is kind of lagging behind. I have to fix that problem. I already got myself a new camera here, but I haven't yet hooked it up, so I should be able to solve that. How are you, my dear friends, my music lovers? Did you have a good start into Friday? I mean, the weekend is right around the corner, so it is enough reason to be in a good mood, I would say, even though it is so early in the morning. Are you guys all right? Okay, Hunter Hamburg, schön, dass du es versuchst. Ansonsten schreib einfach, sprich Deutsch in den Chat, wenn du das Gefühl hast, da war gerade was Wichtiges, dann versuche ich es auch nochmal auf Deutsch zu sagen. If you are English, could you please raise your hand in chat? Just, you know, to give me an idea of how many English-speaking people we have right now. Wondering Jin, good morning. Good to see you too. Oh yeah, you are English. Okay, so you are the reason why I'm starting this off in English, but I'm sure we will be joined by other English-speaking folks as well. And maybe the devs from Digital Arrow, the development team behind Aquanox Deep Descent, is lurking or showing up in chat as well. So it's going to be English for them as well. Wild Wolf habe ich überlesen. Hang on. Ah, okay, du bist gerade erst munter geworden. Naja, aber während du so deine Social Networks durchstreifst, kann ich dich ja schon ein bisschen zutexten. Delentis, my English is not the yellow from the egg. Yeah. I will try to speak slowly, and it is Friday morning, so I think I will speak slowly anyways, so no problem about that. All right, I will play you guys two things. I will play you a trailer to Aquanox Deep Descent. For those of you who haven't been in the previous chat and the previous stream, and I will also show you guys the music that we have done on Wednesday to give you an idea of what we have achieved so far and where we are going to pick up the thread today and continue working on the music. As you've probably seen in some of my earlier streams, whenever I'm expecting a guest and sort of we have to stick to a certain schedule, I have a timetable. Ta-da! And on this timetable you can see that we are starting with this block here in real life introduction, and then I'm going to show you the combat theme, and we start working on the combat theme for Aquanox Deep Descent in roughly 25 minutes. And then at 10 we will be joined again by Henning Nugel. He's a game composer as well. He wrote music for Risen 3, for the Settlers games, for you know, many other games that have an excellent soundtrack. And he also played guitar for Aquanox 2. So I thought it was appropriate to bring him on board for Aquanox Deep Descent as well. And when we left the previous stream on Wednesday, he went into his studio and recorded electric guitar, and I'm going to listen to it on the stream, and we are going to work it into the music that we're writing. And then this last block here, live composing, is like the rest of the morning and noon hours will be me working on the song. So just so you know what's coming up, and let me guys show you what Aquanox Deep Descent is all about. On Wednesday we had issues with the sound balancing, and I know that the like everything that came right out of Streamlabs was way too loud. So I will try again, but this time I will not play it through Streamlabs. Instead, I will play it like directly through my computer. So I think this time it will be a little better. Give me a second, guys. So there you go. Okay. You ready to see a little bit of Aquanox Deep Descent? I sure am. And this is the trailer that we created for Gamescom 2017. So the footage is almost a year old. Welcome to the world of Aqua. I think it looks very atmospheric. It looks like a game I look so much forward to playing, and I hope you guys will enjoy it too. Delente says this is kind of like space just below. Yeah, it has some similarities, and I think it is a challenge for the developer to develop you know, a style that is distinctive and kind of completely separates this from space scenario. And they did an amazing job. Whenever you are floating around in the world of Aqua, you can literally feel the pressure and the danger that is around you. And sometimes, I mean, what's great about underwater is it is not as empty as space. So you can create quite beautiful sceneries around you and quite interesting, you know, vistas to look at. And the world of Aqua is much more diverse than it would seem in this trailer. You have like all sorts of color palettes, all sorts of different scenario types and underwater structure. Oh, I got a donation. Rohal, thank you so much for your donation. Guten Morgen, ein kleines Danke für die Arbeit, Kai. Auf viele weitere Jahre mit deiner wunderschönen Musik. Ach, das ist so lieb von dir. Vielen lieben Dank. Und danke auch nochmal für den Sub von gestern. Ich wurde gestern vergiftet, wie die Bieber-Brüder immer so schön sagen. Mir wurde ein Sub gegiftet bei der Shakes im Creative Stream. Danke sehr dafür. Der Alert ist leise. Ich weiß, ich habe die Alerts extra etwas leiser gemacht, Onkel, weil das sonst immer so in die Musik reinhaut. Ich höre sie noch, ich hoffe, ihr hört sie auch. Und wenn wir mehr, sag ich mal, uns aufs Reden konzentrieren können und weniger aufs Musik machen, werde ich die Alerts auch wieder leiser machen. Aber ich habe so ein bisschen die Sorge, dass wir uns nicht auf die Musik konzentrieren können, wenn man immer die Alerts hört. Okay, so back to English. First of all, thank you for your follow, Ascot2. I appreciate that. Great to have you aboard. Lama Makes Music. Hunter Hamburg hat was gefragt. Is it open world? Yeah. Norbert Varga, as Lama Makes Music already answered, calls it a pseudo open world. And we will have to ask him what exactly he means by that, because I don't want to say anything wrong. Gaming Forest, thank you very much for following. Or for hosting, actually. Thank you. That is your way of getting a little bit of Gothic 3 music, right? There you go. What I understand is that there is something like an open world where you can explore things, but whenever you enter into a quest or a mission, there is something like a dedicated scenario for that, like an instance that you can play through when the mission requires it. But I don't know exactly, so in case Norbert shows up, we would have to ask him. Delentis, thank you very much. And Wondering Jin, also thanks for your kind words. What we will do today is, just to give you a heads up, is we will work in this screen here on the piece of music that we started writing on Wednesday. And there is a bit of a novelty today, because I have a second screen, which is this one here. And up there it says, focus, no chat interaction. Because what I realized on Wednesday was that it slows me down significantly. I mean, you guys will probably understand it. It slows me down when I try to work creatively and constantly have to switch between interaction with chat and working creative. So I have an idea, I execute it halfway through, then I do my chat interaction, and when I get back to Cubase, I have literally no idea what I was trying to do. Sorry for that. I have the lighting here is not ideal, so we have this green mess here. So when you see this focus no chat interaction up there, it means that I'm, as the name implies, I'm trying to, make some progress on the music, and I will spend maybe 10 minutes or so working on something. I will explain it. I will be talking to you, because I think I will be able to handle that, but I will probably not look at chat so much. And when this goes away and we go back to the interactive work mode, I can show you guys around and look at the chat at the same time, and you can see it as well here in stream. So I hope that works, and it will make us a bit more productive, because on Wednesday we were productive. We created this beautiful piece here, but we were kind of more in a brainstorming and floating mode, and when we get into the actual production of the music, I think I need a bit more focus. So I hope you guys will understand. All right. Who of you has played one of the previous Aquanox games, like Archimedean Dynasty, which was called Schleichfahrt in German, or Aquanox 1 or 2? Do you have any experience with that? Maybe you can post in chat, and I will get an idea of how experienced Aquanox players we have in the audience. Kai, schönen guten Morgen. Dillenor is my good friend Kai. Great to see you here. So you're new to this lore, and you're new to this franchise, so to speak. At least as a player, you probably know about it. I will try my best to sort of get you into the mood of the game and make you thirsty for it. Asket, du hast Aquanox 2 gespielt. Rohal hat alle gespielt, okay. The Lentis, no need to apologize. I mean, it has been kind of The Archimedean Dynasty has been kind of a hit in Germany, and Aquanox was more like a sleeper hit. There is a huge international audience, but it is not, you know, not a game that I would put on anyone's "you must have played it" list. But Aquanox Deep Descent is going to contribute to that, hopefully. Ach, du hast auch beide gespielt. Okay, alles klar. Ich habe nur... ach, Mi. Ich habe Nee gelesen. Entschuldigung. Okay, du hast alle gespielt. Ja, cool. Ich mache euch noch ein bisschen Aquanox-Musik im Hintergrund an. Ist ja auch schön, wenn man am Freitagmorgen so ein bisschen mit fetziger Musik geweckt wird, oder? Komm, dann machen wir nochmal hier das Kampfmusikstück in den Hintergrund. Aufwachen. Wake up. We have combat music in the background. Okay. And we have another guest actually today. Kind of a guest, which is this guy here. This is my bass guitar, or actually my daddy's bass guitar, and maybe if the song needs it, we can play a little bit of live bass. I gotta preface this with I am not a bass player, but I like to, you know, experiment and just try to create interesting sounds out of an instrument. I used this bass guitar already on Aquanox on some of the themes, and I literally used, you know, forks on the strings just to create some sounds. And maybe we can do something like that as well. So Mr. Bass is at our disposal anytime. Okay, what do we have here? Bit of floating music in the background. Delentes, how many instruments am I playing? I play mostly piano and a little bit of guitar, you know, the typical campfire guitar, so to speak, sitting around a campfire and playing the classics. But not really well. So guitar is I would say my secondary instrument, and piano / keyboard is my primary instrument. And then I play like a range of little instruments that I use, you know, to color my themes, like a didgeridoo, for example, or a bass guitar, or all sorts of percussive elements or instruments. And literally, when we wrote, when I wrote the music for Gothic 3, I went into ethno music stores, which is like little music shacks that would sell instruments from all around the globe. And I would ask the shopkeeper to show me quickly how to play it, and then I would get them and try to understand the instrument and get a sound out of it. So I'm more like an experimental instrumentalist on many other instruments. There is something I want to show you regarding the interactivity of the music that we have in Aquanox. Here you see I have prepared something for you guys. It is showing how adaptive the music is going to be in game. So when I click on this thing here, it will play a music which is supposed to be like the background music of one of the worlds in Aquanox. And you see it's currently playing the float version, which float means nothing's really going on. There's no threat around you, no enemies, no combat nearby. So it is very relaxed, but it's still suspenseful, because there is a little bit of you know, literally pressure everywhere and a little bit of suspense. And now I can switch between those layers anytime. So for example, when we switch to suspense, you can hear that it gets a bit more intense. Then we have this additional little shaker percussion element. It's like a cymbal played. So it's a bit more rhythm. And like when that suspense moment is gone, we go back to float. And it calms down again, and you see that the arrangement gets more minimalistic. And now we have these two here, Arena and Combat. They are another pair, so to speak. The first two are pairs, and the Arena and Combat are pairs as well. And Arena is like when we are in the proximity of combat. Like we are going into an area where people are fighting. And now when we actively engage in that fight, we go over to Combat. By the way, are the music volumes okay? Can you hear me all right talking over the music? So let's go to Combat. Danke sehr. So I think you get the point. The idea is to have an interactive music system that will, allow the game to react to what you're doing in game. I've done the same thing for the Gothic series. I mean, Gothic 1 already had explore, threat, and combat music, but in this case we're pushing it to the next level. We're adding more of these different layers, and also tweaking a little bit the transitions in between. Llama Makes Music is asking something. Did you create that stream interface yourself that is like coupled with the program and allows me to have such seamless switches? It is. This one is created by myself. Yeah, this is a web application that I'm using also to pitch my music to the developers. When I have a new, like in this case, a new package of 4 musics ready, or 4 layers ready, they can already get an idea of how they work interactively and adaptively without having to implement it into the game beforehand. So this is my own like demo technology, if you like, and but they have recreated the same thing in engine, so that we have kind of the same behavior in the game as well. And it is like potentially capable of taking things like the measures into account. Like it is aware of the beat, and you can say I want to transition over to the next cue at like at the next bar or at the end of a specific phrase. But the reality is that the frequency of changes is so high that we have to be able to kind of switch between layers pretty much instantly. So we're tweaking crossfade length between float and suspense, for example, so that you get this nice fade out of the suspense elements. And it doesn't really matter whether this is like tightly on the rhythm or not. And in between these two pairs, like float and suspense and arena and combat, that is like the trickiest transition point. Because going from float to combat, for example, is literally currently just a crossfade. So that is something where we can play little transition like jingles or percussion crescendos to cover that up. Alrighty, that's it. The music system, a demo of the music system. There's actually more to this, but the kind of the layered approach is what you guys have to understand in order to get an idea of what the music concept is in Aquanox. I want to play you guys another video, which is the only video that I have with footage from 2018, and what you can see in that video is a little bit of everything. Slapstick, thank you very much for your follow. Great to have you on board. We are writing music for Aquanox Deep Descent today. Or actually, this is part 2. We already started working on this on Wednesday, and I'm currently, showing the new viewers around and introducing them to the lore, if you like. And this new piece of video that I'm going to show you is so you came in the right moment. It is kind of, it has a little bit of everything. And what's new about this video is that it also shows you how the narrative or the story is told in Aquanox through chatter dialogue between you in your cockpit and your teammates floating around you. Like in missions, they will literally be your like cooperative buddies, but driven by the AI, and they will be able to comment on stuff that you've done and to tell the story and drive the narrative forward. So let me show you that in the video, and maybe I will talk over it because I think it's quite long.
We'll make our own way from here. Fedor, end the transmission.
Can you hear the voiceovers? Here we have a new piece of UI, which is kind of your new quest objectives. And the sound mixing in engine isn't finished yet, so you hear the engine only mono, like pretty much in the center. Thank you, Llama Makes Music. Yeah, I tried to improve them a little bit. Okay, that's good to hear. Whew, that was something that worried me since Wednesday, whether we would get the levels right.
There they are.
So the engine is like a muffled mess in the center. So let me bring the bass down a little bit, while the rest is too silent, but we are going to improve that.
See? Knew he had a heart of gold. Oh, glad to hear from the dealer. Your thoughts?
I think Okabe's right. We have no idea who to trust. And we do have a common goal. I suggest we do as both factions ask, and evaluate the situation when we're through this gate of theirs.
Okay, let's get to it then.
So we now have a new quest objective, and there in the center of this circle you see that we're approaching it, and we're kind of 200 meters away now, and this is where we will get to the next story point. There you are.
What has this world become? It's to challenge authority so brazen.
Who knows exactly who the thieves truly are in this situation? You were Fletcher. You seem disgusted by the Atlantic Alliance.
Find out soon enough. For now, we need to get those parts. Everyone, engage the enemy.
Llama Makes Music, thank you. Yeah, I understand that. It gets you totally excited. And I mean, I have played through Aquanox during development. I can tell you it's going to deliver on the promise. So this is actually what it feels like. There, as you can see, there's a little bit of everything in this video. We used to have, you know, dialogue and combat. And here we are collecting some stuff from a shipwreck. So world exploration elements and interaction with the world, in this case shipwrecks. And I like the fluency of this. I mean, everything is very fluent. You transition smoothly between story progression through dialogue and combat and picking stuff up and going back to combat. Rohal says, I want to play it right now, so give it to me. The good old Archimedean Dynasty and Aquanox, and also kind of the Wing Commander X-Wing like approach, but underwater. Oh, I didn't see this one. Do you see that we have little breaches in the hull? There are little here, right here. There you go. And on the other side we have little holes in our window shield. And water is dripping in. That doesn't look good at all. And this is like a universal tool that we see here. This red beams. You can use it as a weapon, but you can also use it to cut stuff open, to harvest things. AKX Onkel schreibt, jetzt weiß ich, was mir immer fehlte, wenn ich Bilder sah. Eine Anzeige, wie tief man unten ist. An indicator how deep you are is what you were missing. That is something I mean, you can improve your cockpit. If you look at my scene, you see that this is a completely different cockpit than the one you saw in the video. And depending on kind of the cockpit you get different displays. And also you have these additional monitors, one here and one there. And we also have the same thing in this scene, one on the left and one on the right. And you can use them to, you know, to see different things in the game as well. Blankbeard, hey, good to see you again. Alright, so I think this is really a very atmospheric game. And what you've heard previously during the combat was actually the suspense music. So we were engaged in combat, but we didn't actually hear like a full throttle combat theme. It was a bit more relaxed, which is because that was the suspense layer, and we have to add combat music to that. So yeah, to everyone who's new today, in this view here we are going to watch me writing my music. So here's my Cubase. This is the software I'm using to compose, and this is the piece of music that we wrote on Wednesday. It is currently what I call the style palette. It is not yet a song. It is a bunch of ideas and like what I like to call colors. When you imagine a palette and you put those different colors on, and then you go to your canvas and you can use these colors to paint a picture. And I do the same thing. I create myself a palette of colors, like different sounds, different instrumentation ideas, and then I take these colors and use them to structure a song and compose a song out of that. And we are kind of in the style palette phase. So what you will hear is 3 different blocks of styles. Let me give you a little bit of structure here. I will just put a structure track right above this one. And we have one block here that goes from here to, I think, here. So this is our style 1. And here we have style 2. And each of these is 8 bars long. Let's color this one orange. And style 3 is another 8 bars. And we make this one yellow. And now let's listen to what we have established so far. Part 2. Hallo Felix, hallo Linu und hallo Delantis, dich hatte ich schon. Genau, habe ich gesehen, Delantis, dass du zurückgegrüßt hast. Danke sehr. So we had this more, you know, percussion-heavy third part. We had a more atmospheric and ambient second part with this industrial smash, and we have this one with the guitar riffs, the rhythmic guitar. And we got a briefing from the creative director on Wednesday, like live during the stream. And the briefing was that this music is going to be for the Indo-Pacific Federation. That is one faction in the game. And they are supposed to be like really powerful, really rough. They build everything out of metal plates. They have to come across more like a big Mac stomping rather than, you know, an agile little fleet. So imagine this Russian fortress, heavily armed, heavily constructed out of bulky metal. It is powerful, it is impressive, it is rough, it is minimalistic. You don't see much detail on there. It's just, you know, this big chunk of metal. So that's why Norbert, the creative director, suggested that we use like industrial elements and this kind of stomping rhythm, even though it is a combat track. So you would probably think it should be more fast-paced, but the combat against this faction should kind of represent the faction itself, which is so colossal and big rather than, you know, agile stuff. Genau, Industrial Metal mäßig, richtig. Der Henning Nugel, my buddy Henning, who also is going to show up here at 10, so in roughly 30 minutes or 20 minutes, he recorded guitars for this track. So I sent him everything we created on Wednesday. He went to his studio and you know, experimented with different things, and he's going to tell us about that in 20 minutes. And he sent me the stuff, and I haven't yet put them in the project. I have had a quick listen to it, and it sounds super cool. But we will do that together. I will show you how this goes into the track. So industrial metal is like exactly what we have to do, Delantis. Slapstick, did you already show which instruments you use? I mean the plugins, East-West for the orchestra or anything else? I did show all the plugins that we used in this particular track. Let me go back to that scene. There you go. So everything that you see here was introduced, and I showed the audience what plugins this is, and we will see them again in the live composing session today. But I didn't give you guys like a tour through all my plugins and virtual instruments, because I literally have more than 1,000. I'm collecting virtual instruments. And when you ask for orchestra in specific, I have like a handpicked orchestral, not really template, because I start every project from scratch in an empty project. But I used to always go back to libraries from 8dio, libraries from Spitfire Audio, libraries from Audict, some of the new string libraries that they've just released, and some little details, for example, for solo instruments I pick from other libraries, that's for the strings. And for brass, I like the new Sentry series from 8dio. I like Cinebrass from Cinesamples. I use it a lot. And for woods, I have I think 5 or 6 different libraries for orchestral woods, including Audict's solo woods, including 8dio's flutes and clarinets, and some more. But when we write on an orchestral theme, maybe like in one of the future creative journeys on Wednesday, when we have a big time like orchestra tracks, you will see all the libraries that I use. Endlich Kaffee im Blut, sagt Wild Wolf. Ja, ich habe noch keinen Kaffee getrunken. Bei mir ist das mit dem Koffein so, dass ich langsam das Gefühl habe, dass es den gegenteiligen Effekt hat. I kind of get my impression is that caffeine sometimes on me has like the opposite effect. But it's tricky, you know. You drink a cup of coffee and you have like 10 minutes of energy boost, but the gap that follows, like after those 10 minutes of being like affected by the caffeine, is I'm dropping into this hole of being super tired and super out of energy. So I don't want to sacrifice 2 hours of being tired just for those 10 minutes of energy boost. So that's why I'm kind of trying to avoid that now. Grüner Tee wirkt langsam aber länger. Aha, gute Idee, Rohal. Ich habe grünen Tee unten stehen, dann probiere ich das mal aus. Ich dachte, grüner Tee ist immer noch relativ milde im Vergleich zu anderen Teesorten. Lucky Camper, dein Mann wird vom Kaffee auch müde. Echt? Ja, das ist irgendwie... Ich glaube, wenn man das zu oft macht, dann wird die Zeit, die der Kaffee wirkt, immer kürzer. I will spare my other questions for Sunday. Okay, all right. Feel free to ask them anytime. We will also have what we call on this channel, what we call catch them all. Let me give you a quick idea of how that works. I will have this overlay, sorry, and you can post your questions in chat, and I will literally go through all of them, because I have a tendency of missing so much, unfortunately, in chat when it gets a bit more frantic. So that's why we have this, and I want to be as interactive as possible. So please ask anytime. Dillanor, Ingwer, Honig, Minze. Ja, das mag ich auch total gerne. Und dann, oder was super lecker ist frische Minze mit Ingwer und so einer Scheibe Orange und Zitrone drin. Also so ein bisschen quasi frisches Obst noch mit dabei. Und dann entweder Honig oder Kandiszucker. Aber ich sehe, wir haben alle schon so unsere Erfahrungen. We all have our kind of experience with how to stay awake through caffeine, or I think the substance in tea is called thein. Thanks for sharing your experience. Beste Grüße von allen aus dem Digital Arrow Studio. DA Studio is Digital Arrow, right? Okay, so Jirik Tferi, thank you very much, and please say hi to everyone back at Digital Arrow. Sehr gut. Who are you? Would you like to tell us who you are? Delentis, ich bin nicht so der Mainstream, ich trinke Kakao. Ich mache jetzt noch ein bisschen Musik im Hintergrund an, dann machen wir gleich nochmal eine Runde Catch Them All. Ich zeige euch ein bisschen, was wir hier haben im Projekt, und okay, I'm getting something from Norbert, which kind of reminds me that I have to make my Skype notifications muted. Oh, that looks super cool. Very good. I will show that to you, definitely. Look at this. This is a bit of material from the concept phase, I believe, from Aquanox. I don't know how far this dates back. Let me show you a bigger version of this. There you go. And I think usually the early stages of designing a new vessel is working with shapes. So you literally just, look at the outlines and shapes and silhouettes of things rather than, going 3D directly. So this looks like a part of the concept stage where a certain shape was developed. And this looks very much like an octopus to me. Like the first impression is, or the first association is, something like a squid or an octopus. So very, very appropriate for this underwater scenario. And it looks super cool. So and all the vessels that I've seen, all the submarines in the game have a very distinctive style. And then you can take that and customize it. So for example, if you don't like these wings going to the back, you can just replace them by wings, extending to the side if you like. So thank you very much for showing that. And okay, I think the important piece of information that I just saw in chat with Norbert was that this is a combat ship from the faction that we are writing music for. So yeah, pretty much as expected. It looks, I mean, it kind of has some elegant lines to it, but it still looks very, heavily armored, very, yeah, you may write colorful, yes, Lucky Camper, very heavy, I'm sorry, very heavily armored. You mean, Delentis, you mean the fact that this is kind of based on a squid shape? Yeah, I like that too. And here's another one that I just got. This is the inside of the IPF cockpit. And as you see, it looks more threatening and more menacing than the cockpit I just sat in. It is. It has these red colors. It has these things like pipes, and everything is constructed out of these metal plates welded together. Or yeah, it looks super cool. So we would have to sort of have this in mind when we write the music for it. Guten Morgen, Carsten. Schön, dass du da bist. Grüß dich. I will write Norbert that I'm showing this live in stream right now, and that the response is that it looks super cool. Norbert. Okay, I see you are in chat. Dawn Scream is Norbert. So thank you very much for joining this stream again. And the material is super helpful. It helps us to better understand, you know, the style of the faction. And also, I mean, yesterday, or on Wednesday rather, we tried to really focus on like if you imagine the Russian fortress that I used to use as an example, more like on the big elements, on the massive structures. But here we see that it would be okay to also use some details, because even though we have this bulkiness and this, you know, the simplistic design or the simplistic technology rather that they use, we still have some details like these pipes here, and you know, little things like these venting valves here. So I think we can, in the music, we can also add a bit more detail. So we don't have to be so super, you know, super stompy. We can also have a little bit in between, because the faction design is less minimalistic than I thought. It has more detail to it. So let's try to also pick that up in the music. Details like this here, for example, and sometimes even the elegant curved outlines. K2K, hi, good to see you again. So thank you, Norbert, for that. And now that you're here, I don't know how much time you have to hang around here with us. So I will play to you what we kind of worked out on Wednesday, and we haven't yet we haven't yet added the guitar from Henning. So that's going to happen in roughly half an hour. But this is what we have with the virtual guitars so far. There you go. And now let's do this interesting thing where we have live feedback from the creative director. As you see, Dawn Scream is writing here in chat. He's the creative director. And Norbert, please be honest. I know we are live, and I know you don't want me to look like an idiot. Is your Skype muted? No, not yet. Hang on. You want to send more stuff? Okay. I think I have everything muted now. So you can send stuff along. Even though it means like you may let me seem and look like a complete idiot when you say something negative, you may give me honest feedback, dear Norbert, on this track. Is this going in the right direction? Do you like the tempo? Do you like the instrumentation choice so far? And you guys in chat will be able to follow how I get my first feedback. Okay, I got some new material as well. So while Norbert is writing his feedback, I can show you a bit more stuff. And I like how how fluent and improvised this is getting. Okay, here we have two more, and one is from the Pirates faction and one is from the Clans Union. So I'm guessing this is the Clans Union. That's two other factions that we will have in the game, and I'm showing you this just to, you know, I will play it again in a second, Norbert. I'm showing you this just so you know that, or you get an idea of where we have IPF on that stylistic scale or stylistic range. So this is a completely different style. It looks completely, you know, out of a different technological era, if you like. It looks much more modern, much more slick, much more elegant. The color palette is completely different. And if I'm not mistaken, this is Clans Union, and this one here is a faction called the Pirates, or the High Sea Pirates. Because High Sea Pirates are kind of the do-it-yourself guys. They build everything out of their own stuff. And this kind of looks like coming from their technological approach. But if I'm mixing this up, Norbert, and it's actually the other way around, please let me know. And once again, as Delentis pointed out, we have shapes coming from the underwater world. And in this case, it looks very much like a manta ray. So once again, an interesting choice of shapes. You can see that well down here. Behind me, this has kind of the shape of a manta ray from behind, but you also see the same thing in the top-down view and up here. So very, very smart design choices here. I like that very much. And if we look at the IPF one again in comparison, you see that this is kind of less messy than the High Sea Pirates one. It is less technologically advanced than the Clans Union one, and it is more solid in a sense. It is more compact. It has more compact design, more minimalistic design. Thank you very much, Norbert, for showing that. And now I'm going to play the music again so that you can listen to it and provide feedback. And as I said, please be honest. If there's something you don't like, I want the audience to witness this kind of iteration cycle. So that's it. That's it. That's what we have so far. And I'm curious to see what Norbert has to say about it. We are 5 minutes away from being joined by Henning Nugel in this stream. As you see, we're approaching the 10 o'clock block. And Henning is going to show us the guitar recordings that he did yesterday, and we will work them into the track, so it will sound even better regarding, you know, the amount of metal in the music sense, the amount of metal in the track. I got more pictures. Let me show you this one again. Oh, the concept art, or the art style in Aquanox is so cool. Look at this one here. I mean, you can see it is coming from the same design world. It is not exactly the same ship, but a very similar one. Let's bring this up a little bit. And here we have a new perspective on the cockpit, and a bit more of the shape gets visible. And I like the fact that this is kind of based on a squid. Looks really cool. Here we have the new cockpit view. Very nice. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Norbert. While you write your feedback in chat, I will ask Henning whether he's going to be ready at 10. Give me a second. And I will just play the song again because we have only a few more minutes left anyway. So let's. Henning is there already. Okay, so we will start in 10 minutes. Sorry, in 2 minutes with the call with Henning. All right. Too many different scenes here in my oops, sorry for that. In my stream deck. So this is where we will have Henning Nugel in a second. I'm going to call him. I still haven't seen any feedback from Norbert in chat, but I'm sure it will show up anytime soon. No pressure on you, Norbert. So, let's call Henning. Henning?
Ja, kannst du mich sehen?
Ich kann dich nicht sehen, ich kann dich aber hören.
Warte mal, gucken wir mal. Video ist deaktiviert. Warte mal, jetzt nochmal.
Ja. Nee.
Und es baut sich auch was auf, oder nicht? Oder
nee,
doch?
noch nicht. Du bist noch
Es ist
schwarz.
zu dunkel hier, warte mal. Boah, was ist denn hier schon wieder los? Kamera.
Ah doch, ja stimmt, du bist einfach nur dunkel, das ist es. Genau, ich sehe dich in super dunkel.
Was passiert hier, ne? Wie kommt das? Warte mal.
Nein, kein Problem. Soll ich dich gleich nochmal anrufen?
Ich stelle mal meine Kamera nochmal neu ein. Irgendwie so, ich rufe dich gleich an, ja?
Okay, mach das. Alles klar. Bis gleich. Okay, Henning was a little bit visible in the image, but it was super dark, so he's tweaking the camera a little bit and he will be back. So Dawnscream said, I guess, the track sounds quite interesting and it's definitely going towards the IPF mood. Perhaps I push towards a heavier mood with the bass. I guess when the details start coming into picture that you mentioned, we'll have the sound evolve further. Definitely. Not sure if I get this feel due to the stream quality though. Maybe send over an export. Okay, I can send you the exports that we currently have without the live guitar, and there we have Henning calling. Hang on. Ah, that's much better.
Okay.
Okay.
War ein Fehler bei mir.
Okay, no problem. So, welcome.
No fault on your side.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I saw you, a little bit of you at least in the dark, but this is much better. So, welcome back to the creative journey to the world of Aqua.
Yeah.
Great to have you on board again.
Right.
So what happened in the meantime was on Wednesday we created this song that you guys have heard a few times now during the stream. And I sent it to Henning on Wednesday evening, and you went to your studio yesterday, Henning, and recorded some guitar for us.
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
And yeah, have you have you listened to it?
I have listened to it, yes. It sounds super cool, but I haven't yet put it in the project because I wanted to do it together with the audience.
All right.
But I can play it back for you guys. So this is the kind of the world premiere of us listening to the guitar recordings by Henning. Give me a second.
Yeah, sure.
So I will play the guitar only, not the demos that he sent, so that we can listen to the kind of the sound of the guitar that you created. So that already sounds, Henning, probably you won't be able to hear it through Skype, but that already sounds so so dirty and so gritty. So it's exactly what we need for IPF.
Cool.
That's what I think, and we will see what Norbert has to say about it. And then we have a more accentuated version of the rhythm that is a bit more, staccato, short notes, so to speak. So we can try to either use one of the two or maybe layer them to, get a bit more punch on the attacks, but keep the playing style. Would you like to comment on that? It looks like you had something to say about it.
No. Just go ahead. Go ahead. It's okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for your follow, Mike 16073. Great to have you here. Okay, so that already sounds very good. So we have a version of this with this phrase played with longer sustained notes, so to speak, and we have a version where this is played more rhythmic. Which one do you like more, Henning?
I think the first one was my personal favorite, but it's different from yours.
That's no problem.
It's more like the second version.
Yeah, but so,
it's a matter of taste. It's just it felt better playing. The first one felt better.
Okay.
To play.
Then let's use that one. I like that one more as well. The virtual one that I played was, just me playing messy on the keyboard. It didn't really have like a conscious design choice behind it to make it short notes rather than long notes in this phrase. I mean, you also played it very rhythmic in most parts of it, but when this little phrase comes in, this one, then you chose to play it a bit more connected, and I think that works very nicely. Okay, so what else do we have? We have something here that is called distorted guitar bow. Could you tell us what that is?
Yeah, I had this idea while we were in the first part of this chat on Wednesday evening, and with this cello bow, I bowed the electric guitar, and it's just for background noise and just to have something that's kind of going on in the background.
Interesting.
Without using too much of the melody kind of thing that we don't want to do with the ICF.
Yeah. So the idea with this is to put it kind of in the back of the track as a texture that is coming from a natural world. We don't have like a synthetic texture. We have let me quickly click on something. There you go. So it's a very natural, very guitar-ish texture that we can use to color the track. Correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let me play it. I'm interested to hear it. Interested. Nasty. Very nasty. I like it. Okay.
There are two versions. You can use them to pen them left and right, but they're slightly different. You can use them on its own as one of them or both of them.
Nice.
One other thing is I would for this kind of rhythmic guitar stuff, I would pan the guitar left at 85, not to 100% left.
Yeah.
The right guitar to about 85 right.
Okay. I will do that.
To have the guitar out of the way of the rest of the rhythm, and perhaps some other material you want to put in there, and also to have this more wide sound, but not fully to left or right, because it kind of loses its focus then.
Yeah.
I think it's my personal thing.
I understand. Yeah, the two get too disconnected when you pan them to the extremes.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, you played them tightly, so that they can become kind of a new instrument by combining the two different versions to the left and the right, but only if we don't pan them too extreme.
Yeah. But you can do what you want with this.
Yeah, we will try.
It's just for the rhythmic guitar stuff at the beginning and the end. It's better to have them left and right, really, and because they are, of course, they're the same rhythmic patterns, but they have different amps and distortions on them, and they're slightly different, because I cannot play 100% on beat every time.
That's cool. I mean, it should sound natural, so that's good. Let's listen to the differences between the two. I will play the left guitar now, but you will hear it in the center. And now, in comparison, the right one. So this one is, it sounds deeper and more powerful. It has more of these harmonic artifacts in it that come from the strings and the harmonics building up. So it has a completely different texture, and I'm curious to see how these two blend together. We will try that. We will put them in the track. I mean, I can actually do it right now while we're in the call, but I also want to go back to something Norbert said earlier. So let me quickly answer something in chat, and also maybe hand over some of the chat questions to you so you can address them.
Okay.
So first of all, sorry Norbert for this little change of topic, because we were talking about your feedback. You can, you're becoming an octopus myself with the whole stream controls. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you've seen my setup. Let me show you that quickly. Norbert, here you have my MIDI keyboard, and here I have like the streaming mixer, the little console that drives the scenes, another mixer back there. So I'm completely surrounded by technology, so to speak. But you gave me some feedback, thank you very much, and your feedback was kind of I'm okay with it, but I'm not yet super convinced, and you said it sounds interesting, it goes into the right direction, but you have to push towards a heavier mood with the bass, and we have to add more details. So if I understand that correctly, it has to okay, the one thing you said is maybe it is because of the stream quality, and I agree that I have listened to some of the stuff that we've done in the VODs, and the qualities, it sounds completely different in the stream actually regarding the frequency range that comes across than it does on my machine. So the bass was like kind of completely dropped in the stream. In the stream. So I will send you the file over. Henning, give me a second. I will be back for you in a second.
It's all right.
But I want to send Norbert something. There you go. And I'm going to send him the bounce that I created for you for your recordings. There you go. So Norbert, if you're listening, I'm currently sending you a file through Skype that has a better quality, hopefully. And since my Skype upload is kind of messed up, I'm also putting it in my Dropbox. I'll notify you. Yeah, I agree that we haven't even started working on the mix. We are currently focusing on the style palette and things like bringing the bass a little bit to the front in the mix and so on. That is going to be part of the mixing phase. Currently we're kind of putting together our palette of instruments. But what's your idea and what's your feedback on the rhythm that we're having, and kind of does it sound industrial enough already?
Things like...
Okay, Henning, can you mute your stream again, because we're hearing it echoed?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no problem. And I'm going back to you. Okay, we can see you again. And let me try putting your guitar in the track and see how it sounds. And while I do that, can you see the chat yourself, Henning?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so guys, let's do this. I have a new scene here which is called Focus. You see it up there, and this focus scene means that I'm now kind of diving and submerging into my music making software. I won't do much chat interaction, but what I can try to do is I can try to put Henning in this scene as well, so that you can have a little chat with Henning. So while I put the guitar recordings in, feel free to ask Henning a bit of stuff. Give me a second. There you are. Sweetness. So I'm putting you up here. I hope this whole thing works live. I've never tried that. But yeah, you should be visible now. Guys, can you see Henning up here?
Yep.
Okay, so take your time and ask Henning a few things, and I will create the necessary tracks here in order to get the guitar in. And Norbert, I will send you the Dropbox link now as well.
Hey guys.
Dropbox. There we have it. And I'm sending it over to... Oh, wrong screen.
So, kann ich jetzt schon was sehen? Hallo Henning, yes, yes. Ihr könnt gerne was fragen, wenn ihr möchtet.
Genau, wenn ihr wollt, stellt euch eure Fragen an Henning. Für die Gitarristen unter euch, solche Fragen wie, welche Gitarre hast du benutzt, welche Amps oder was weiß ich was. Oder wenn euch einfach interessiert, Henning hat ja auch die Musik für Risen 3 zum Beispiel gemacht und an den Siedlerspielen mitgearbeitet. Wenn ihr irgendwas Allgemeines zu seiner Arbeit wissen wollt, haut die Fragen raus. Und ich baue eben die Gitarre einmal zum Testen.
Kein Stress, Kai, kein Stress.
Ja, ja, I'm in focus mode. I may be, you know, not concentrating on the chat.
Wie lange arbeite ich schon? Seit 2000 um den Dreh, 1999, 2000, glaube ich so. Also schon ein bisschen, so ein kleines Urgestein bin ich wahrscheinlich auch schon, so wie der Kai.
Absolut. Okay, was ich jetzt hier mache ist, ich nehme jetzt die Files, die Henning mir geschickt hat, diese Gitarrenaufnahmen, und füge sie dem Projekt hinzu. Jetzt habe ich sie hier in Cubase und kann sie hier auf die Spuren legen. Und dann machen wir jetzt genau das, was Henning gesagt hat, nämlich wir pannen die gleich auch so ein bisschen. Ich erzähle euch auch, was das genau heißt. Carsten, ich habe übrigens gesehen, dass du geschrieben hast, das ist genau mein Sound. Ich finde es auch richtig cool. Also dieses Rotzige darin, das gefällt mir sehr, sehr gut. So, was ich jetzt noch mache ist, also ich habe jetzt hier 2 Spuren angelegt für die beiden Gitarren. Guitar One und Guitar Left und Guitar Right. Das sind die beiden, die jetzt markiert sind. Ich glaube, ich färbe sie auch schon mal ein. Ich habe bisher noch ein bisschen Unordnung in meinem Track. So what I just did is I created two audio tracks for the guitars, the 2 blue one that you see now, or turquoise ones, and they are named Guitar 2 and Guitar Left and Guitar Right. And Henning mentioned earlier that we would have to pen them. And what that means is that we move them out of the stereo center to one of the sides. So I will give you an example. When I take the guitar left and play it solo, so you will only hear the guitar. It is like right in front of you, it's in the center. When I move it to the left, it's coming out of this headphone speaker or out of your left speaker. And Henning said that it shouldn't be panned like fully to the left, but to like 85%, which means that the signal from the left also bleeds a little bit into the right ear, and you need that in order to connect the 2 pieces. And we will take the right guitar and pan it to the right. Oh, nice. That sounds super cool.
Okay.
I look forward to hearing it in context. Jamie Nord Music. Hi, schön, dass du wieder da bist. Danke fürs Einschalten. How much did you work on it yesterday? I just joined. I didn't do anything on this yesterday. We are exactly where we left on Wednesday, because I had to work on another project yesterday, and I will also have to work on the other project like right after this stream. So I'm switching between two urgent projects in this week and the next. Das hört sich richtig geil an. Delentis und findet das auch gut und Sebaro findet es cool. Ich schließe mich dem an, das klingt wirklich gut. So.
Thank you guys, thank you.
Ja, ich mache das erstmal ein bisschen leiser, weil ich glaube, dass es gleich sehr laut sein wird im Vergleich zum Rest.
Auf jeden Fall.
Ich mache auch schon mal, genau. Ich mache auch schon mal die synthetische Gitarre. Die mache ich jetzt nur noch mal zum Vergleich einmal kurz an, damit wir hören, was wir gerade für einen krassen Unterschied hier bauen. Das ist die synthetische Gitarre, die wir hatten. Die kommt jetzt weg und stattdessen kommt die von Henning dazu.
I think you can pull back the bow stuff. It's very prominent in the foreground. You can really 6 dB down.
Which one is the bow stuff? Because I haven't yet added it to the project. You mean the guitar played by the bow, or would you?
Yeah, right. Is this not?
No, it's.
Ah, okay, I see. Ah, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I left some sustain chord at the end for you if you want to kind of get a smooth fade out into the next passage.
I've noticed that, and I will do exactly that right now. I will create an.
You can really cut this to a few milliseconds after the next part.
Yeah.
You have to experiment with this.
Yes, I think I like. What I would like to do is I would like to take your sustained guitar note and push it back in the mix through EQ. So I will cut away, gradually cut away the high end, so that it becomes this bass drone that sticks around for a while, so to speak. And also reduce the volume. So maybe what we can have is we have this prominent guitar, like that's right in your face, and at the end of that part, it kind of floats back into the underwater world and becomes like a bass drone, if you like.
Yeah.
But let me.
with this, or if you are not happy in the end, you can use the other guitar version, because it doesn't have the sustain, it just has the cut of the really unsustained cut note.
Okay. Okay, let's listen to both of them in comparison. Oh, sorry. I couldn't mute my microphone. That one came too unannounced. And so I have a duplicate of this one now, and it is panned in exactly the same way. So we already have this left-right panning here. But I named them in the wrong way. So this couple will be green. The green version is the accentuated version, and the blue version, this one here, is the more sustained version. And I'm putting the other one in as well. And you can already see, let me zoom in a little bit, that this thing here is the sustained note that Henning was talking about. It's not here. The green one doesn't have music in here, but the blue one has. So when we listen to the green one, it just cuts there. And the blue one kind of has a sustained note here. And I have an idea what to do with these two versions, because my idea, Henning, is to take your rhythmic version, put it back in the mix, but put a delay on it, so that the rhythm kind of creates this this rhythmic accent ping pong around you, while you still have the sustained notes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, try this. Yeah, cool idea.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay, let me look at the chat, because I saw a conversation going on between Wild Wolf and Norbert. Wild Wolf says, I like your design on the ships. There is just one thing with the second ship, the Manta Ray-ish. Okay, I think this is not for us. It's not about the music. So, good to see you guys interacting in chat and asking Norbert stuff. Lama makes music, sehr geil. Ich weiß immer nicht, wie ich pennen soll. Ich bin so ein Symmetriefreak, ein echtes Problem bei Musik. Ich bin genau anders. Also bei mir ist es eher so, dass ich immer alles irgendwie, wenn du dir die Bühne, auf der die Spuren liegen, so wie so ein Fußballfeld vor dir vorstellst, ich verteile die Sachen immer total wild. Ich habe manchmal auch wichtige Liedinstrumente relativ extrem gepennt. Also da bin ich immer sehr experimentierfreudig oder mache auch Sachen anders. Also es gibt so ein typisches Orchester-Setup, dass man irgendwie die Violinen, erste Violine, zweite Violine, Violas, also Bratschen, Cello, Bass, wie man die anordnet im Orchester. Aber ich mache das meistens anders.
Du bist schon eine coole Sau, bist du einfach.
Ich bin voll der Panning-Anarchist. Okay, aber jetzt lass uns mal das mit der Gitarre hier noch machen. Ich habe hier noch eine Spur hinzugefügt, die heißt Guitar Effects. Und ich werde jetzt diese Gitarrenspuren, die wir hier haben, routen. Das heißt, sie werden ihr Signal jetzt an eine Effektspur schicken, über die ich dann noch Sachen verändern kann. Also auch den Sound noch verändern kann. Dann brauche ich das nicht auf alle Spuren einzeln legen. Also das, was ich vorhin meinte mit diesem EQ darauf, wo sich das rausschleicht, das können wir mal einmal testen, indem ich jetzt hier auf diese Spuren EQ drauflege. EQ bedeutet, dass wir jetzt Kontrolle darüber bekommen, welche Frequenzen die Gitarre noch nutzen darf. Der grüne Bereich hier ist der Frequenzbereich, den die Gitarre im Moment nutzen darf, also wirklich komplett. Die Bassfrequenzen sind hier, die mittleren Frequenzen sind hier, und der hohe Detailkram, sage ich mal, die Harmonics der Saiten. Oh, I just realized I was doing this in German. So, I'm adding some effects to the guitars, and the first thing that we do is we're adding an EQ, and the EQ gives you control over which frequencies in the guitar signal should be louder or more silent. So this is the bass frequency area, this is the mid frequencies, and this is the high frequencies. And I now have this little thing that allows me to gradually cut away the high frequencies until we only are left sort of in the subwoofer territory here. And when we play this guitar back, only the guitar, you see that it kind of ducks away through the EQ. Let me try something real quick. Because my impression is that we kind of lost a bit of the panning, but I don't know why. Yep. I have no idea how this happened, but this is now not panned anymore. Maybe I have created a mono effects track by... Yeah, okay. So that is obviously not what I had in mind. I didn't want to narrow the signal down to a mono, but I created a mono track because the system remembered that I was creating a mono track before. So this one goes away, but we will copy the EQ over to the stereo one. There you go. And we remove the mono one. Which one is the mono one? This one. And now we have to change the routing because the guitars were routed to the mono one. We now route them to the stereo one. So the guitars are sending their signal to the stereo track now. And now, it sounds much better already. Now, same thing again. You see? We can bring it in and push it back again. And this is the kind of this is kind of the movement that I wanted to have. So let me play you this part in solo again. And the sustained note that we're talking about is coming now. And I'm pushing it back in the mix through the EQ. It's kind of drifting away into open water. And in order to do that, I'm going to record that movement in the EQ now. I have a little record button here, this one. And when I play this back, there you go, and it has now recorded my movement. Now, when we play it back again, I'm not doing anything, and it's automatically moving. Look at that magic. So now what we've done is we've taken a very long sustained note. Without our movement, it would like hang around forever. It's just there. And it's kind of too much interfering with the rest of the song. And when we add this movement again, we make room for part two, so to speak. It drifts away. Okay, save. So let's look at chat. Yeah. Das sieht so einfach aus, wenn du es machst. I mean, the cool thing, Llama Makes Music said, it looks so simple when you do it. The cool thing is that the plugins really take a lot of the efforts away from you. The good plugins are designed in such a way that you can actually really be efficient and work fast. Henning, it's 10:30. How much time do you have left? Do you have like 5 more minutes or so?
I'll stay with you a bit.
Okay, thank you.
As long as you want to have me.
Yes, I wanted to do two things. I want to listen to the bowed guitar in that part because I thought it was a very good idea. You brought that idea up on Wednesday. And I also want to try the combination of the rhythmic version and the sustained version. And since we are looking at it right now, let's do that one first. So just to explain you guys what I'm doing, we have this guitar. And it has this part, this na 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 na, where the notes are played in a connected way. And we also have another part where the notes are playing in a disconnected way. Listen to this. You heard that? It was like ding 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 ding. While this one was... Okay. I want to stick to the sustained one because I like it more, but I have an idea for this rhythmic one, which is to apply a delay to it, or maybe even like a more complicated movement. But let's start with something very simple, which is a ping pong delay. And what that does is it takes the signal and makes it, you know, echo from left to right. And I'm using a very extreme panning, but I'm also just adding it very, very subtly to the mix, so not too upfront. So I'm bringing this down quite a bit, and in this case, I'm not so much interested in the low end because we already have the low end in the other one, and if I double up the low end, it would be too present down here in the subwoofer realm, so to speak. So for the rhythmic one, I'm only interested in the high end mids. So when we listen to this solo, actually I have to make it a bit louder so that you can hear it. Okay, now, and when we take that and kind of push it back in the mix, you won't be able to really hear it because, I mean, the other guitar is obviously much louder and much more dominant, but it adds a little bit of this ding, 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 ding movement. So let's try that. Niosum, guten Morgen, schön, dass du da bist. Niosum. It is subtle, but I think it works okay. What do you think, Henning?
It's okay. Yeah,
okay.
It sounds good.
Okay. So now let's take your bow. So we have another bit
just one thing, Kai.
Yeah.
I have also sent you clean, undistorted, clean stems of the guitars.
Mm-hmm.
You might find that perhaps you don't like the distortion on the bows so much. Perhaps if you also have guitar rig, I think, and you might put them through some crazy guitar rig setups if you like, which gives you perhaps more possibilities for these.
Okay.
But you can work with the distorted ones for now.
I will try them because
see if you like them, and then you can check if you find something better.
Okay. Thank you. Well, since the one that you sent me and the ones that you sent me are kind of how you imagined it would sound good, I'm definitely curious to hear that first. Okay. Oh, I still have that movement. Sorry, I have to route that to another effects channel. I was accidentally ducking it away together with the electric guitars. Bow. So the bow should go to another channel. Where do we have it? There you go. And on this one, we are not interested in. So here you see that the movement was recorded and kind of converted into a curve. You see it here. So whole frequency realm, whole frequencies, and now we're ducking away the high end. But we don't want this on the bow, so I'm just, completely taking this away. And maybe we won't even need the EQ at all. So let's let's abandon this for now and listen to the bowed guitar as Henning had it in mind. Brownie, schönen guten Morgen. What's interesting about the sound, Henning, is that there is something in there that kind of goes up, like the harmonics kind of go up tonally.
Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
Yeah, this is the bow. It's just,
Oh, that's
you know,
this. Okay.
because then the guitar is not meant to be bowed.
Yeah.
So you get all kinds of crazy harmonics with this. So yeah.
But it's really cool. But it
It's
sounds
fun.
a bit like a siren, like an alarm, so to speak. It's in this signal
yeah,
here.
a bit like that.
Is it this one? This one.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I
kind of,
meant. They are slightly different. I think I kind of, you know, not only bowed sideways but also up and down. So I kind of
nice.
scratched and it had this kind of slide. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So the sound is really, really great, and I think this is the first time that we're going to hear all the stuff in context. So I'm now playing Henning's guitars and the bowed guitar in our mix, and I haven't tweaked the volumes just yet, so I may have to do some live tweaking, but let's listen to what we have now.
The both down.
Okay, this is where we have to bring the EQ back in.
Yeah.
Because the rest of your guitar was still kind of 2 kilometers away. So, but this already sounded so cool, Henning. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you have to experiment a bit with the bow.
Sorry?
Because you have some subtle kind of bass atmospheres going on there also already.
Yeah.
So you have to see what works and what you know, experiment.
Yeah, definitely. We have to. Well, we are kind of mixing, or it's jumping between different stages. We're working on the composition. We're working on, you know, tweaking the sound of individual elements, and we're also jumping ahead a little bit into the mixing area, which is the frequency carving and, you know, making sure that every instrument gets its own.
Yeah,
area.
yeah. This is perhaps the way that I work, because I always mix while composing. This is the way I work. I always need a good sound to start with. You know.
Yeah.
I can, and then when I'm finished composing, the mix is mostly finished also. So this is the way that I work normally.
Me too.
Okay.
When there are complicated mixing tasks, for example, you know, if you have two instruments kind of fighting for the same frequency area, but it still sounds okay, I'm pushing that to the end of the work. But general, like the more you know, simple mixing, like the stereo panning, also the spatial positioning in this axis, how close is it to the mic or how far away is it, how much reverb do we have to add. I do that on the fly as well. But in this case, I think when we have an audience like this, jumping too much between different topics may end up being confusing, because we're looking at so many different parts of the software.
That's right.
So I think for a live stream situation, it would make sense to make it in a sequential order rather than everything at the same time.
Still, it's fun to see us two guys just, you know, doing the same stuff we do always the same way we always do it. So perhaps it's a bit chaotic and
Yeah,
it's
true.
yeah.
Let's
so-
call it creative. Creative sounds better than
yeah,
chaotic.
yeah.
Okay, Henning. Before I let you go, I mean, you can obviously hang around in this chat, but end the call. I mean, by let you go. I wanted to play a round of Catch Them All with you, a very quick one, so that the chat gets the chance to ask you some questions, and then we can, you know, maybe continue chatting. But you can also move back to your own work in your studio.
Yeah, great. Yeah. One thing for the last guitar parts, they are the two versions are completely different. So it's just
okay.
I want to give you options for tweaking, and so you can play them on your own, or you can take the one or the second one or whatever, and check out what you like.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so Catch Them All. I think by now you guys know how that works. Is like a game that we play in chat, and it's going to be supported soon by like a dedicated script that Benedict has written for us. But for now, because I haven't yet started using it, we have to play it in chat, and it works like this. You will see a message from me popping up called Catch Them All Started, and when you see that message, don't listen to my voice, look at the chat, and when my message pops up in chat, Catch Them All Started, type your questions to Henning, not to me, because I will hang around here for a while, but Henning, we will have to say bye to Henning. So type your questions to Henning in chat during the Catch Them All, and when you see my message, sorry, Catch Them All ended, we will go through all your messages. So get your messages ready. I will only make this 10 seconds long or so, and we will listen to the track while you can type your questions. And when you listen to this, when you hear my voice now, the Catch Them All will start probably in 10 seconds. So let's play the song, the full song. Oh, nice. Woohoo! I love it, Henning. That was...
Spiel doch mal kurz die zweite Version nochmal eben.
Ja, okay, warte.
Während ich nochmal dabei bin.
Ja. Okay, also das war Version 1 hier. Perfect. And now this is version 2.
Ist die irgendwie leiser?
Ja.
Okay, dann musst du die lauter machen.
Ich mache das jetzt mal quick and dirty. Wir machen es gleich richtig.
Ist okay. Oder ist da noch der IQ drauf?
Ach ja. Warte. Da ist noch die Kuh drauf.
Ja, die dicke.
Sorry guys, I forgot that I had so many effects on the other guitar that it would affect this part. So this is version 2 actually, sorry for that.
You can use it for another part, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I like them both, but I will stick to the first one for now, just because it completely blew me away when I first heard it, and that's always a good sign. I mean,
it's a matter of taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the first thing that came to my mind, so perhaps it's the best one.
Okay. But I notice in the way you say this that you would actually have chosen the second one, yeah?
No. It's just
Okay.
I like them both, but they are perhaps for different parts. Perhaps.
Okay.
You can experiment again.
All right. Let me drink some water, and then I will read out the questions for you. Fianoros, can you show your guitar on stream, maybe in action?
In Action schlecht, weil ich ihn nicht angeschlossen habe.
Ja.
Okay, das ist schlecht zu sehen, ne? So große Gitarre, big guitar,
Doch, geht auch.
little video camera.
Ja.
Yeah, this is Vet by Schave, and I bought it off from a good friend of mine from school. It's perhaps 25 years old, and yeah, I like to shred a bit with this. It's the perfect kind of metal guitar for me, so it's very good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Can you do me the favor and move a little bit to the side, not to the back? Okay, perfect. Because it works much better in this scene now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Now, Henning, question from Blankbeard. If you could change one part of the music, which would it be?
Of this music, I think not change.
Good question, by
the way. The last part that we heard with the guitar in here, it lacks a bit of kick, bass kick.
Yeah.
You have this, and the second you have the very strong first accent, and you need some bass, some really thumpy bass on the second and third and fourth.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was something to change and to make the rhythm more, kind of really industrial and gritty and everything.
I agree.
That was my idea for this.
And also, what we did with this one is we used this element here.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a pitched down version of something else. And since I pitched it down by an octave, the transients, the attacks were completely, gone. It was like the sounds were kind of blending in rather than having a punchy attack. So I agree that this sounds way too tame and way too kind of nice, and it should have much more accent on the bass.
And perhaps you can have some kind of like some hi-hat stuff, not perhaps really hi-hats, but something more, steely, kind of anvil, like scraping something.
Yeah.
Just like in a normal metal track, like a cymbal, it's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I was in the Wednesday session. I was trying to avoid little things like that, because I thought that we need this like very bulky, simplistic, minimalistic thing only. But now that Norbert has shared the actual ship shapes and ship concepts with us, they have detail on it. They have little things. It's not just a big chunk of metal, so to speak. So we can have those details too. We can your overlay is right in front of that. We can have like a little hi-hat here. We can have a little crash here. We can have all sorts of things. So yeah. Okay.
I think it worked because in these kinds of tracks, I think we do it the same way. We tend to focus too much on the bass and on the mid range, but we need some kind of sizzly high ends there. They don't have to be much in the foreground, just in the back, so that you have these kind of sizzly kind of things in there.
Yeah, I agree. You chat, please try to remember that for me as well, because I sometimes forget ideas after a session of interacting with you guys. So when we go back to working on the track, you guys can please remind me to add some sizzling to the third part. Okay, then we have a question from Jamie Nord Music. Which mics did you use for the guitar recording?
Actually, none. I just put the DI version of the guitar through the mixer and went into a software plugin. It's called TH3 by Overloud, and it's a great little plugin. It's very cool.
Okay, thank you. Also, Marco, danke, dass du mich ans Trinken erinnert hast. Dawn Scream, you should both come grab some beers on Aquanox Lounge. Can you? Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah. When will this be?
This is later this year.
Okay.
This is I would understand this as an official invitation for us to join the release celebration. So thank you very much, Norbert.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Of course, we would love to. Or I would love to, and Henning said the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. Thank you very much, guys, for posting your questions. And Henning, thanks to you as well for showing up again in my chat and for your magnificent guitar performances. They really.
Thank you very much, Kai. You're very welcome.
Thank you. They make this whole song come to life. So exactly what we kind of had in mind. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for having me and for making this, letting me be part of this. And yeah, have a good time with the rest of the chat, and hopefully the version will come to a good end.
Yeah, I think it will. I have a good feeling about this. Okay.
Hopefully Norbert likes this.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
But we will still have to get behind the Norbert barrier. But we're getting there, I think. Chat, please leave a round of thanks and waves and hearts and any kind of way of expressing love for Henning. And I will talk to you later, my dear friend.
Yeah, thank you guys, also chat guys and girls, and yeah, thank you for being there. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that was that. We now have a real-life guitar in our fancy little track. Thank you very much for treating Henning so kindly. And let's play the track again and then make up our minds what we are going to do next. Sweetness. Hunter Hamburg. Viel Spaß. You have to go to work. Okay, viel Spaß. Have as much fun as you can at work. I will quickly bounce this out, which means that I will, create essentially a WAV file or an MP3 file out of this and send it over to Norbert. Preview for Norbert. And for this particular case, I will use just an MP3 file, a high-quality MP3 file. Guten Morgen, kleiner Dosenpfand. Schön, dich zu sehen. Hallöchen. Blankbird, das mache ich gerne. Wir sind hier schon in Part 3. Ne? Also die Gitarre liegt hier in Part 3, wenn du mal schaust. Ich habe noch das Henning-Feld hier drin. Das muss ich noch ausmachen. Sekunde. There you go. Also wenn der Export fertig ist, siehst du, dass wir hier schon in dem gelben Bereich sind mit der Gitarre. Das heißt, die liegt schon im, in Anführungsstrichen, dritten Part, dieser Teil hier. Aber du hast da trotzdem natürlich recht, dass wir die beiden auch nochmal tauschen können und nochmal schauen können, wie der zweite Teil oder die alternative Gitarre von Henning sich hier anhört im dritten Teil. Das machen wir jetzt auch mal. Ich schicke dem Norbert ganz kurz das MP3-File rüber. I will send the MP3 demo to Norbert. Give me a second. And then we are ready to continue. Aquanox Music Combat D output preview for Norbert. There you go. Okay, Norbert, if you're still there, I sent you a preview of you know, the stuff that we just did, and maybe you can let us know whether with the electric guitar this is already getting a little more into the direction of the IPF. What else do we have? Mr. Nickes, schön, dass du da bist. Guten Morgen. Okay, genau das meintest du. Alles klar, dann lass uns doch mal reinhören, Blankbeard. I would say this is a little bit too loud. And now the other one again. That's tricky. That's tricky. Because what I really like about this one is the variety in the rhythm. Because in this part, we have established this kind of slightly shifted, but pretty straightforward rhythm. And this one is it's putting the accents on in completely different places, which I like about this one. And in the other one, so it kind of made me go with the groove. Okay, guys. I'm undecided because I like them both. The first one kind of caught me because it was the first one that I listened and I was kind of impressed and kind of enthusiastic about it. But let's make a little vote. I will play them both for you again and say which version it is, and then you say 1 if you prefer version 1 and 2 if you prefer version 2. Version 2. Celtic78, vielen Dank für dein Follow, habe ich glaube ich schon gesagt. Und The New Max Matrix, auch dir, vielen lieben Dank für dein Follow. Schönen Dank, dass ihr beide da seid. Also, das ist Version 1. Blankbeard, you mean the entire track? I will do, but for this voting, let me quickly just play this part here. So that was part 1, or version 1. So if you prefer this one, when we start the voting, you type the the number 1, and this is number 2. There you go. Actually, I mixed them up. Version 1 is now version number 2. But as I played them now, so the second one I played is version 2. The first one I played was version 1. Yeah, you're right, Blankbeard. Sorry for that. The last one you heard was version 2. The one before was version 1. Which one do you like more? Vote now in chat by just posting the number. 1 or 2. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you something that Norbert just sent me. This one here. And he says, listening, also my favorite, okay, I gotcha. Your favorite IPF ship. So this is your favorite IPF ship, Norbert. I can see why. It looks very cool. Your Skype is not muted. Yes, I put it on my mixer here on a level, but I had to bring that level up again for playing back the music because they're using the same channel. So I can mute my Skype when I'm not at the same time playing music. And within Skype, I unchecked all the notifications, but it's still making sound. So I have to look into that. Okay, thank you guys for voting. We have for version 2, or for version 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 votes. And for version 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 votes. Okay. So version 2 was the first one. The first one that we listened to with Henning, this one here. It got more votes, and version 1 okay, guys. So what you don't like, what the people voting for 1 didn't like about this is that it's jumping between different riffs. And as Henning said, this is the first thing that came to his mind. So imagine he was kind of experimenting with different things. I like this part. And we don't like this one because it's kind of confusing. Now we like this one again. So we have something that works well, which is this. And then we have a kind of a riff that kind of, you know, puts away the focus of the track. It's kind of lacks a bit of orientation, the riff, so to speak. So let's see if we can just mix the two up. What do we have here? I mean, it is rhythmically kind of related to the other one, so we might be able to just, you know, cut them together. So. Doing it quick and dirty. No. not playing all at the same time. And this is really quick and dirty, and we will have to clean it up and, you know, add little fades and so on, but just to see how this improves the riff itself. And when we get back to version 1 now, and the same thing again. So as you will be able to see by the colors, is we're alternating. Oops, we're alternating between the two versions. Let's see if that helps. Hallo Tubemeister. Blankbeard, you say this is kind of difficult because the one is played in a very, you know, accentuated way and the other is kind of fluent. But I don't know if I fully agree to that, because and even if it does, it is, you know, it adds a bit of variety or variation. Kaffee, Hallöchen. Honestly, I think this works. This works. Let's do this. Henning, if you're still in chat, first of all, my apologies for taking your stuff and messing it up and making something new out of it. But you said we are free to experiment with it. So, Henning, if you listen to this, what do you think? Do you think this alternating between the two different riffs works? I think it works because it takes the best of both worlds. On the one hand, it is more consistent because, you know, rhythmically consistent. We're not jumping between different riffs with different styles, but still the two parts are, you know, varied enough to avoid it getting boring and repetitive. Blankbird says that the lower part has less distortion than the upper part. Are you sure? I don't think so. But I'm not a guitar expert, so maybe you know the details and subtle differences better than me. G-Tech, hi, schön, dass du da bist. So let's keep it like this, and the other, but Hall, okay. The other thing that we wanted to do was add more details to the high end. Blankbeard, thank you very much for trying to improve this, but I think this is actually, like in the context of the mix, I think this is working okay. We can still do some tweaking later on. I will bring down the volume just a little bit, but I'm actually quite happy with this. So let's play the whole thing, the whole song once again, and in the meantime, we can collect ideas what to do in order to, you know, add more detail as we discussed, and more, you know, more rhythmic elements to the high end. Sorry. Blankbeard. Good, 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 good. All right. We need something like a to-do list, so as not to forget things. First of all, what Norbert says was he needed to have more punch in the bass. This should be more, as I understand it, it should be more aggressive. I mean, we have added an aggressive element to the mids, kind of mids, in a sense that we have an electric guitar that is quite aggressive already, but we don't have that, you know, punchy aggressiveness in the low end, in the bass frequencies. So that's something we have to work on. So we're happy with the middle, so to speak. We have to add more beef to the low end, and we have to add more detail to the high end. So that's the two things that we have to do. And I think the one is more like a mixing task. We can add a little synth to underline the low end a little bit, and the other one is an actual, you know, style task where we try to find a new detail instrument. And actually I will add part 3 to this, or task 3, so you guys remember. Task 1, more beef to the low end. Task 2, more detail to the high end. And task 3 is I want to try another, you know, stylistic direction to have a little ethnic, you know, ethnic, how to put it, to make it possible for the game player to understand that this is coming from the sort of the Russian world, or ex-Russia. So my ideas was to have something like a very low bass singer drone, like a choir, a bass choir, like a Russian very deep choir. And I want to try a new library. I'm sorry. This is coming too surprising. I want to try a new library and just, you know, take you with me while I do so. I haven't done much with this particular library. So just to show you what I have in mind, it is called Wotan from Threads of Sampling. I have a few other libraries from Threads of Sampling as well. Let me show you guys, and I use them regularly. But I haven't played around that much with Wotan just yet. Give me a second. But do you know what I'm at? I want to have like bass singers in the background. There you go, Threads of Sampling. I have Freya, which is a female choir library. I have their solo strings, super cool. I have Taiko's Tropa is another bass library, but it's kind of got a part of Wotan, and some sound design stuff. Und ja, das Sizzlen kommt. Das war das mit dem Detail. Genau, vielen Dank, Hexer. Das kommt gleich. Ich möchte euch noch einmal ganz kurz diese Library zeigen. Dann können wir nämlich gemeinsam entscheiden, ob das in eine gute Richtung geht oder nicht. Also ob wir das weiterverfolgen wollen, den Gedanken, oder nicht. Dann wandert der auf die To-Do-Liste. So, Wotan Bases. Because I'm really actually quite curious. Where's my sustain pedal? I'm quite curious how this sounds. Celtic schreibt, ich würde den Bogenpart einen Tick lauter machen, damit dieser den Nebeneffekt der Sirenen noch mehr durchkommt. Okay, können wir machen. Nice. So we are on B. Can you hear it all right? Let me bring this up a little bit. Featuring this like too prominently would be, I think, too distracting, but adding it as a color, as I keep saying, I think could actually work. let's... Ooh, way too loud. Let's see where. I think in part 2. Yeah, I like it. What do you guys think? I will put it. I will put it in the part 2 and in part 4. We haven't started working on part 4, but I will kind of build it around this because I like it so much. Yep. I'm sold. The sound, the quality of the recording is so awesome. Blankbeard says that it sounds Russian when you play the higher notes. Oh, it only goes to here because I only loaded the basses patch. I would have to load the tenors, I think. So let's try that again too. But then we remember we have 2 open tasks. We have punch and beef to the low end, and we have detail to the high end. I won't forget about that. So tenors. And we have whispers and shouts and clusters. That sounds interesting too. Let's try those. Na toll, jetzt will ich die Library auch. Jamie Nord Music, die ist super cool, oder? Finde ich auch. Also Wotan sind die Männer und ich brauchte für ein anderes Projekt die Frauen, deswegen habe ich Freya vorher schon gekauft. Ich poste euch mal einen Link. Freya hatte ich schon gekauft. Also Freya sind die Frauen, Wotan sind die Männer und ich habe großen Spaß mit dieser Library. So, Strats of Sampling. Products. And I'm not getting anything for this promotion, so I'm doing it just because I like it so much. Here you have Wotan on their website, and I'm going to post that link in chat. There you go. So Wotan tenors. Ooh. Missing the bases. Bitte keine unautorisierten Links. Okay, we're listening to the boo syllable. So what they actually sing is boo. So that is a bit too, I would say, a bit too extreme on the attacks for being played in a sustained fashion. So let's play no instead. I thought I heard something like a whispering noise. Ja, Wild Wolf, die Sachen sind natürlich teuer, aber die sind ihr Geld wert. Ne? Weil sie halt von jetzt auf gleich mit einem richtigen Plugin so einen Song zum Funktionieren bringen können. Und es steckt super viel Arbeit darin, so eine Sound Library zu bauen. Vielleicht, was war das denn? Vielleicht kann ich ja auch mal einen Sound Library Hersteller einladen, dass er mal ein bisschen was darüber erzählt. Aber das ist halt so aufwendig, dass das natürlich auch sein Geld wert sein muss. Gerade wenn man so quasi Special Interest Libraries hat, die man nicht 5 Millionen Mal verkauft. Und insofern habe ich da vollstes Verständnis. Also ich habe sowohl Verständnis für die Library-Hersteller, die dafür Geld nehmen müssen, als auch für Leute, die dann sagen, das ist mir zu teuer. Okay, aber wir haben ja noch was zu tun. Aber ich finde, die Farbe, die wir jetzt hier hinzugefügt haben, finde ich schon sehr, sehr cool. Also wir hören uns den Teil nochmal an. Hört ihr das im Hintergrund? Das Ding hier. Soll ja auch dezent sein. Lava makes music, das finde ich auch. Passt sehr gut. Ja, Wotan, das hat sich doch gelohnt, da mal reinzuschnuppern. Finde ich super cool. So, dann fangen wir mal an mit dem High-End. Details to the High-End in dem Teil. Und ich habe hier oben noch mein Drumset. Ich habe das zwar schon gepitcht, aber das können wir auch nochmal zurückpitchen. Die Wotan Library erinnert mich direkt an das gute alte Schleichfahrt. Ja, das stimmt. Du hast recht. Der Chor ist perfekt. Ja. Gute Sache. Wir sind übrigens gerade ungefähr 40 Sekunden in den Track. Ja, fast eine Minute, kann man sagen. Eine Minute genau hier, aber da vorne fehlt ein bisschen was. Das heißt, hier, wo die weiße Linie ist, ist eine Minute. Und wir brauchen 3 Minuten. Das heißt, wir müssen hinterher natürlich auch genug Material haben, dass wir diese Style Palette nutzen können, um sie zu rekombinieren. Dann bin ich ganz froh, dass wir eben noch mehr von diesen Dingen, wie jetzt haben wir den Chor noch hinzugefügt, wir haben die coolen Gitarrenriffs, wir haben den Bow und so weiter, dass wir einfach genug Material haben. So, also das ist hier unser Unpitched Drum Set und das ist das Pitched Drum Set. Das Unpitched Drum Set muss ich dementsprechend noch unpitchen. So. So, jetzt haben wir hier nämlich die Hi-Hats. Ich hatte auch irgendwo gelesen, I was reading that a hi-hat might be a good idea. So, let's try that as well. So, Dawnscream has written something. So, after listening to the track via the export, I am clear that the bass is clearly there properly. Okay, so it was kind of spoiled by the streaming quality. So, guys, keep in mind what you're listening to on stream is, I would say, 60% of the frequency range. You don't hear the low end so well, and you don't hear the high end so well. And maybe, as you know, as a bit of a community service, I will have to discuss with Norbert. We can make a little bit of this available to you. You know, a little preview, if you like, as an exported MP3 file, so that you can listen to it. You really nailed the vision that I was trying to go out for this faction. Thank you very much. Certain leveling will be needed, yes, of course. To have better cohesion, but of course that's not the main point of feedback at this point. High-end could use a bit of sound, as you said, as well as Henning, not to get lost with the deep mid-range. Great job so far, Kai. Thank you very much, Norbert. Okay, this is confirmation that we are on the right track, because everything that you brought up, the kind of mixing tasks that we still have ahead of us, the missing high-end is stuff that we have on our agenda anyways. So yeah, I think we will get a very good track at the end. Okay, what I was trying to do is, or what my idea was to try, you know, just using an actual drum kit and see whether this helps us here or not. We need a bit more high end. Oh. I will have to mute my microphone, otherwise my, you know, the sound of the keys is actually louder than the sound of the instrument. So let's listen to it. And I'll try the snare as well. I'm not sure. Why not? I mean, let's record it and then we can work with it. Actually, I can almost not hear it, so I'll record it solo. Okay, we will not need the last part. Why not try the hi-hats? So they are played in 16th. Okay, there was a quantization mistake here. This one. And this one as well. And this one. And this one. So this is where you realize that you lack the precision to you know, actually perform stuff like that in real time. Nope. This goes. Okay, I created quantization chaos. So let's look at this first. There you go. Okay. No. Dawn Scream. Here's a wild idea. Maybe try some sharper metal percussion. Okay, we have a metal kit here, so let's see if there's something that we haven't used yet. So this one maybe? Lama makes music, good idea. Hi, Wicked Game. Schön, dass du da bist. Grüß dich. And do you think, Norbert, that this is still too low? Do you imagine something even higher? And I mean, we can kind of frequency carve this to use mostly high frequencies. Okay, I'm trying to not play these instruments too much on the same beat as the rest, because that would just, you know, add a bit of high frequency detail to the punches, but not much detail in between. So I'm trying to play this in the gaps, sort of alternate between the impacts and the details. And mute the hi-hats for now, because I'm not super happy with those. So this one. Okay, let me record that. Some of this works, some doesn't. Let's see. This is the notes that I just played, and when you see this line here going over the notes, it will play the sound. So the first three are on beat, and then it starts getting rhythmically kind of interesting, because we're creating something like triplet accents. Ting, ting, ting. So when this is the beat, we're adding something ding, 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 triplets. Blankbeard, das nennt man Passion. Das ist schön, jemand Kreativen bei der Arbeit zuzuschauen. Ich wünschte, ich wäre auch mehr kreativ, weniger produktiv. Vielen lieben Dank, Blankbeard. Ja, ich kann mir vorstellen, mich inspiriert das auch immer, wenn man anderen Leuten dabei zusieht, wie sie was Kreatives machen, dann habe ich auch immer gleich das Kribbeln in den Fingern. Delantis, auch dir vielen Dank für den Kommentar. An was für einem Stück für Aquanox arbeiten wir? Wir arbeiten an einem Industrial... So, I will answer in English. Wicked Gamey. What kind of piece are we working on for Aquanox? We are working on a combat theme for an industrial faction, so to speak. And by industrial, I mean the type of music. It is a faction in the game that is, you know, supposed to be very heavily armored and very rough and very raw and very, you know, powerful. I can show you some concept art stuff. For example, here we have a ship of this particular faction, and you can see that inside the cockpit right here, it is lit in red, so there is this menacing color scheme. We have bulky and you know, metal plated armor. We have the shape of a squid, as you see there. And when you engage in combat with them, in contrast to other factions, you don't get into this frantic combat piece. We have other parts of the Aquanox music that is kind of really fast-paced, but this should be more a stomping rhythm, like a Russian army guarding a Russian fortress. This is how you can imagine it, because the Indo-Pacific Federation, that's the name of the faction, is kind of composed out of ex-Russia, ex-India and ex-China. So einen Eindruck habe ich mir schon lange gewünscht. Dankeschön, Käfisch. Vielen Dank. Ich freue mich, dass ihr dabei seid. Und danke für dein Follow an... Oh, ich habe, glaube ich, ganz viele übersehen. Sackflickflack. Danke für dein Follow. Und der Depa, auch dir vielen Dank für dein Follow. Ich weiß nicht mehr genau, ob ich den schon gesagt habe. Was war das? Ich habe, glaube ich, noch was geschickt bekommen. Moment. Ah, interesting. Look at this. Okay, this is the concept art for one of the stations. As you probably remember from Schleichfahrt or Archimedean Dynasty or the predecessors, there you can dock at stations, and there you have your quest hubs. You can talk to quest givers. And this is the inside of an Indo-Pacific station, and it shows the same kind of color scheme again. DJ Freak, vielen lieben Dank für deinen Host. Danke sehr. Oh, sogar schön mit Bubbles hier. Cool. Danke, Norbert. Zeige ich gleich. So you see the same kind of color scheme, the same kind of menacing overall architecture. This could be... You know, if you look at architectural elements like this could be the outside of a Russian fortress. So big metal chunks. And here we have our ship. So, or yeah, I think this is our ship, because here we can do the customization stuff. And here's another one. This is the station from the outside, and there you have it. I mean, that is exactly what I was talking about, isn't it? This is... We are we are looking at an old Russian military fortress guarded by this thing here, and that's what we're making music for. To answer your question, finally, Wicked Gamey. Yeah, adios Ocotlo. Adios Ocelot. Ocelot. Adios Ocelot. You guys are really creative with your nicknames. The camera is a little bit out of sync. Because my CPU doesn't allow the 4K camera to be processed fully. I don't know why, but I will have to get another camera or just reduce the resolution of this super high def cam to be able to be processed correctly. I'm lost in nostalgia. Okay, thank you very much, Blankbeard. Okay, so Norbert, thank you very much for showing this stuff. That is super helpful. Okay, now my name is basically saying goodbye to a streamer I really loved. Oh, okay. He came back this year, and now my name is kind of pointless, but I keep it as a relic. Oh, that's so cute of you to pay homage to him with your nickname. And his nickname was Ocelot, right? So I read a few suggestions regarding adding detail to the high end, and the one suggestion was the anvil. It keeps popping up. Mike brought the idea up on Wednesday, and I saw it again today. And the other one was, I think, suggested by Jamie or by Llama Makes Music. It was like a swelling, like orchestral percussion, like a cymbal swell, essentially, or a cymbal scrape. Dawn Scream. With metallic elements, I was more thinking about those small, thin metal slams, usually in a quicker pace. Okay. Little cymbals, I think. Oh, the anvil too. A swelling crash or cymbals, yeah. Alright, let's see what we have. Oops. Wrong. So I have a library called, I think, Cymbals. Where is it? Ah, this one's very interesting as well. The container. It is essentially a metal container, and they slam it with all sorts of things. We have to check that one out. But first, let's see where are my special symbols. Hybrid strings, native instruments, MISC. The live symbols complete. And we also have bowed symbols. We have like different sizes of symbols. And there was a scrape. Where was it? There you go. Stuff like that. Let's listen to some stuff. This is kind of perfect. Is that what you guys had in mind? Like a scraped cymbals? Or did you mean a played swell like this? Scary. This one is cool because I mean it is not too far high up in the high end, and it doesn't sound like a a tiny little thing. So maybe we can use this one here. Both played and scrape. Okay. On the G. Okay. Let's try. I will put the swell at the end of part 2. It's not loud enough. There you go. Or maybe at the beginning of part 2. There was some in between here that were too loud, and the concept behind this is that when we look at this, I'm sorry, when we look at the insides of this instrument, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm playing a certain key here, this one, So let me bring this to here so that I can actually point at stuff. So I'm playing, when you see a little red line coming up here, this is what I'm playing. I'm playing the key down here. It is the G. No, this one actually. This G here. And depending on how hard I hit the key, I get a sound from this range here. So if I play it softly, it's playing a sample down here. And if I play it super hard, it's playing a sample from up here. So, and when we look at the piano roll again, this one here, you can see that I was playing some very loud ones, the red ones here, and some super silent ones, the blue ones. So the sort of scale goes from very silent to very loud, and some were too loud, and it was switching to another sample, which is like really a recording of a super heavily crashed cymbal, while this is more like a more, you know, a softer hit of the thing. So we would have to take these peaks here and bring them down from this sample to this sample. And this one is barely noticeable, so we have to take this one up a little bit. And I will do the quantization, the rhythmic precision, so to speak, later on, because we also want to have this lovely sound in here. Let me see what you guys wrote. Do you have the library Kinetic Metal? I'm not sure. I would have to look at my list. Well, considering China, India in this faction, I think it fits nicely. What was that referring to, Norbert? I love the tension this has. Yes, me too. This is really getting me going. Okay, thank you. Blankbeard, wie lange brauche ich noch ungefähr? Ich muss unbedingt duschen. Ich wollte um 12 Uhr Schluss machen, Blankbeard. Oh, the higher notes played. Okay. Oh. That gave it that ethnic feel. Okay, thank you very much. So I want more of these, you know, more cymbal-based sound effects in there as well. And I was trying to get one in here, like right before we enter part 3. But it didn't make it through the mix. It means that it was the mix was too cluttered up and we couldn't actually hear it. So I will have to try to bring this to the front a little bit. And I want to use that as the transition from part 2 to part 3. This one actually. If you guys get an aching ear, I'm so sorry. Yep. And maybe even an actual crash. Let's see. No, I don't like that. No. Okay, that works too. I think that's the one we have. Okay. And I also wanted to try the metal container. I mentioned it earlier. And you will see what that looks like, because the library manufacturer was kind enough to put an image of it in the library. Drumsticks or metal rod hits. Okay, so this is again very useful stuff for us. So we will keep that metal kit, container, metal kit, and I want to try another one as well, which is the S effects section. You can see it here, and we're going for the tangent stuff. Or Abyss. There's one called Abyss. Let's look at that. Because I usually associate Abyss with something underwater. So this is the container we're listening to, And when I hit something here, you understand the sound of it. Now listen to that. Super awesome. I can totally imagine these guys like standing around this thing and just doing random stuff and recording it. Oh. Okay, I want this in my part 4, where we just have the choir for now. Here. But the guitar was still too loud, so we couldn't really hear it. I have to process the guitar down a little bit here. But I haven't forgotten what we were actually working on, so give me a second. I'll be back in the high-pitched detail world shortly. There you go. Oh, and I have to stop the recording of this. Okay, I just like the sound of this. The scraping metal sound. I like it so much that I want to bring it into the mix a bit more. Container Abyss was the name of the patch. And I want to pan this against the guitar, because the guitar is kind of left and right, and I want the Abyss stuff to be a little bit on the right. Can you see it? I'm doing the panning here. I'm pulling it to the right, so the metal scraping will be on the right, and the choir will be on the left, so that we have a little bit of stereo panning here. Okay, lovely. Now, Dawnstream wrote something. It's interesting, but I think this would work much more in an ambient situation with less sounds. Do you mean the scraping? I think yeah, it makes sense. I mean, when we play through the song, you will barely notice it. There won't be, you know, a moment where you say, okay, listen to this. This is a scraped kind of cymbal or scraped container, but it adds a little bit to it. A little bit. It kind of roots this in the metal world. Let's listen to the whole piece again. Okay, so the last part, obviously the part 4, is still missing any kind of rhythm, and that's why it sounds like, probably this is what you were referring to, Norbert, it sounds like it's going back from combat to ambient, but it's just because we haven't yet added anything else. Now, my impression was that the rhythmic cymbals were a bit too loud. These ones here. So I will do a few things. One is I will just, you know, bring it down a little bit. I will pan it a little bit to the right, and I will add just a little bit of reverb, which is like the sound of the room, to push it further back into the room. I'm going to use this one here. I mean, the cymbals already have a natural kind of decay to them. Dawnstream, we need to be careful not to overload the track. We want to make sure our weapon sounds have enough room to kick. Yeah, you bring up a very interesting part here, because we can either try to take that into account during the composition or later in the mixing phase. And the problem with the weapons is that they cover the entire frequency spectrum as well. I mean, they have that muffled kind of underwater processed sounds of the weapons, but then I added a lot of stuff on top of that for the cockpit noise, which kind of uses, you know, you have pressure valves and so on. So every single weapon sound, when we listen to it, is, you know, a full orchestra in the frequency sense. Let me play you some Aquanox. As effects, add game, weapons, for example the torpedo. Oh, that's too loud. So, like, making room for this would mean reducing the volume of the music in total, because there's no way we can make room for something like this to not interfere with it. At least not from a frequency perspective. We can use things like ducking and so on, but well, the only thing that we can take into account, like from a composition perspective, is to you know, not make the arrangement too dense in general, like you know, not a wall of sound that's there all the time. And for example, in phases like this, where we have that sustained guitar, there's not much room left. This is why I was kind of putting it in the back as quickly as possible. But there is this moment where we have this sustained note. This wow. Okay, let me I will reduce the overall volume of the music and play some sound effects with it. Okay, so Norbert, my opinion is that this is still okay. Well, because we have such an accentuated rhythm, we haven't yet overloaded the track. But you are right, we have to keep it in mind, and not, you know, get carried away by it too much. Yep, it's fine. Okay. Whew. Thank you, Velvedrix, for your host. Thank you. Yeah, I will be careful. You are right. And, you know, that is something that happens to me quickly. That I have so many ideas that I start adding layers and layers and layers, and then you play it and it sounds like, you know, noise. So thank you for reminding me. Oh, Raubling, hey, Melanie, schön, dass du da bist. Grüß dich. Meine Meinung aus dem Lurk, ich glaube auch, dass man das durchgehen lassen kann. Okay, danke sehr. Wir machen ja unterschiedliche Phasen des Mixings. We're going through different stages of mixing. The first stage will be mixing the music, just so that when you're listening to the soundtrack, it has like a professional mix. Then we're mixing the sound effects. We make sure that the weapon sounds and the UI bleeps and the engines and the explosions and all that kind of create a soundscape that is well mixed. Things don't interfere too much. Things don't, add up too much in the low end. And then the last step is actually mixing the music against and we have the voiceover as well. There's typically not much mixing going on there, but so you have sound effects, music, and voiceovers. And the last step is to balance those against each other. So, for example, in a combat, when you have so much weapon sounds going on, you apply some ducking on the music. So the louder the sound effects get, the quieter the music gets. And when sort of the weapon sounds go away, the music has more room and can come to the foreground again. And when there's dialogue that communicates mission content, like a very important information, a new checkpoint was added, we have to go there right now, then the voiceover must duck everything else away. Otherwise, you will not hear it. Like, imagine this combat situation here. And then somebody's trying to talk over it like I am. Oops, sorry. I have a very important information for you. We have to get to the mission objective point right now. So get ready, okay? You got the point. This is not working, but I can't do this right now. This has to be a part of the rule set in engine, okay? So Norbert, we have to keep that in mind, and that is what I was referring to when I said the in-game mix. But I know that you are aware of this already. Flaxos, vielen Dank für deine netten Worte an Raubling und an mich ja indirekt auch. Was haben wir sonst noch? Wir haben... Okay, ducking will be done for voice actors. Yeah, very good. So, we are approaching the 12 o'clock ending point for this stream. And I think it is a good place to stop, because we have feedback from Norbert, the creative director, Dawn Scream in chat. We have the confirmation that this is the sound is cool. We have added a fancy choir today, which I really like. Here in the background, this one here. So we are clearly in Russia. And the guitar recordings from Henning are super awesome, and we have a style palette ready, I would say. I will make sure, because Norbert also gave the feedback that the low end is already okay. The punch is there. He just didn't hear it in the stream audio, but it was in the baked version or in the exported version. So we don't have to worry so much about the punch. We have to worry a little bit about the details in the high end. And once we have that straight, I would say we have the palette ready. And then I will take that and create a song structure out of it. That goes through different keys. Obviously, we will not stay in B minor all the time, and it will have something like a build up, like a choreography, if you like, a progression in the song. But for now, I have to stop the stream and do some work on something else. Maybe when I continue working on this piece later tonight or maybe over the weekend, I will invite you guys back into the stream. But for now, I think this is a very good result and a very good place to stop. So let me play some music in the background from Aquanox, obviously. And then we can have a little chat. There you go. Danke sehr, Melanie. Ja, ich muss auch noch was anderes machen. Vielen Dank für deine Host, Letalida, und ich glaube, Valadrix hatte ich schon Danke gesagt. Danke sehr euch beiden. So, wie fandet ihr das? Gebt mir mal Feedback. Also insgesamt Feedback dazu. Also was mich noch interessiert an Feedback ist jetzt nicht sowas wie, ja, war gut, danke sehr, sondern ich muss ja immer so die Balance finden. I have to find the right balance between, you know, technical details for people like Jamie or Llama Makes Music in chat that actually, you know, have a music background as well. And I want to be able to, you know, not stay too much on the surface, but provide, you know, a little bit of insight into the plugins as well. But balance that against the people that are less experienced and, you know, are looking at this freshly without any musical perspective or technical perspective. And it's not easy to find the right balance. So do you guys think I'm flooding you too much with information and technical details, or are we navigating well enough between the different layers of technicality and detail, so to speak? I would like to hear your 2 cents on that. And Delantis Greenscreen war zwischendurch zu sehen, ich weiß, ja. Ich habe hier einen Akkuscheinwerfer, der den rechten Teil des Greenscreens ausleuchtet. Da kann man auch hier so ein fancy Blinklicht anmachen. Aber der ist leer, wie man sieht. Also da passiert jetzt nicht mehr viel. Da muss ich einfach mal, den muss ich wieder aufladen, dann ist der hier auch wieder richtig ausgeleuchtet. Das ganze Ding sieht zwar hier fancy aus, aber das ist alles hier 2 Euro Teppich aus dem Baumarkt, und hier die Lampen sind irgendwie so LED-Röhren für 5 Euro oder sowas. Deswegen, verzeih. Ja, wir müssen meine Cam noch einstellen, ich weiß. Die 4K-Kamera kommt nicht hinterher, Melanie. Sobald ich Keybase aufhabe und irgendwie streame und die CPU ein bisschen gebraucht wird, kriegt die Kamera das 4K nicht mehr hin. Deswegen stelle ich, glaube ich, einfach auf HD runter oder benutze eine andere Kamera oder so. Jamie Nord Music. Personally, I think the balance is good. You are doing a great job at explaining. Okay, thank you very much. It's really nice to hear Celtic. It's really nice to hear the truck evolve. The atmosphere for me, dark, heavy, puts me into fighting mood. Okay, very good. White Wolf. I wouldn't change anything about the balance. It is okay as is. You find it interesting? Thank you. Okay. Genau, die Logitech Brio, Melanie, ist das. Okay, gut, dann bin ich nicht der Einzige, der das nicht hinkriegt. Wenn ich jetzt hier auf die andere Kamera schalte, ist es auch ein bisschen besser. Ich habe ja hier noch diese Over-the-Shoulder-Kamera sozusagen, und wenn ich da reinspreche, hallo, dann ist es mehr in Sync. Auch nicht perfekt, aber ein bisschen besser. Da sieht man, dass es, glaube ich, daran liegt. Vielen Dank, Alco Negra. Okay. Es gibt grünen Teppich in RGB 02550. Nee, ich glaube nicht. Das ist quasi so ein künstlicher Rasenteppich ist das. Das habe ich nur deshalb gemacht, damit er keine Falten wirft und damit ich ihn einfach immer abhängen kann. Der ist oben mit so Haken befestigt, wenn ich den nicht brauche, ohne dass mir hier alles durcheinander bröselt. Alright. Switching back to English. Thank you guys for joining this stream. I know this is a time of day where people are usually working or studying or at school or whatever, doing something else but not watching Twitch. So it was great to have you guys here. Thank you for contributing to the creative process. We had a voting. You guys, you know, actually had an impact on the track itself. It was a lot of fun, and I will. My plan is to start streaming again on Sunday. Sundays I have my my fun stream, so to speak. So maybe some gaming, maybe a little bit of concert, like live concert for you guys. Maybe a little bit of work, but I haven't yet made up my mind about what I'm going to do on Sunday. But we will see each other definitely on Sunday, and maybe like tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. The day after tomorrow is Sunday, isn't it? Okay, so maybe later today or tomorrow. That's what I meant. All right. thank you very much. And let's see who's online, so that I can finally host and raid people. I'm so excited. This is the most fun part of this. Okay, I'm sending you over to the Biebers. The Bieber brothers are, as the name implies, brothers, and they are some of the nicest guys that I've seen here on Twitch. They just come across very friendly and very, you know, very sympathetic. See you another time. You too, adios, Oceloti. Zebaro, thank you for your hearts. Bis bald, Niasim. Lama Makes Music, du streamst am Sonntag selber. Dann versuche ich aber auch mal in deinen Stream reinzuschauen in der Pause oder so. Danke sehr für eure lieben Worte. Und ich, sollen wir raiden? Sollen wir die Biber mal raiden? Zum Beispiel mit sowas wie, ups. Musik ins Loch. Ja? Ich poste den Hashtag mal. Musik ins Loch, der sozusagen Subbau der Biber heißt es das Loch oder der Biberbau. Immer wenn jemand subbt, sagen die ab ins Loch. So use this hashtag that I just posted in chat, Musik ins Loch, for the Biebers. And I will see you guys on Sunday. And I look forward to, you know, having a great time with you guys. Bieber Bros. Bye bye.